Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment, people. We're just going to get into a couple of points made by Little Miss Vodka, who was on the Jay Slater case. Let's get straight into it and what people are saying.
Brad and Lucy so active on people's posts, in the comments in people's lives, in people's videos, commenting whilst their friend is missing. Wouldn't your priority be to be out looking for someone? Why are you checking up on videos? And I know personally, I had Brad in my inbox, I had Lucy in my comments. She never inboxed me, but she's in one of my comments. Whilst he was missing, right? Why were they so active on social media at the time? Does anyone think that's a bit weird? Yes, I understand the group. If you're in a Facebook group, you know, getting updates and stuff like that, sure. But why was I seeing Brad and Lucy in all these comments and in all these...
I think a lot of it was they didn't realise how big this case was going to get. And I think Lucy, who put the narrative out there that it was Jay's fault, that he went off on his own and got into an accident, I think she thought that would stick. And I think because the news were backing it up and the Guardian Seville said it was an accident, they thought people weren't going to look into this case as deeply as we actually did. People like Mama D, Duncan, who's been brilliant on this case, Wax, and of course Little Miss Vodka, who's discussed the Jay Slater case from the early days, and we saw a lot of red flags through her. And this is one of the reasons why I started covering the case, because of people like Little Miss Vodka and Wax and Mama D, because there was so much going on, and I think so much happened to Jay in the meantime, and that these people involved, they're still out there, living their lives, still travelling, and still trying to get young, vulnerable people into the game to earn extra money for them. And like I said, and it's our job to put it out there to protect our youngsters.
In these lives, not on the live, you know, talking, but they were in the comments, they were on comments on videos. Surely your priority would be to be looking for your friend, or were you doing that to see, I wonder what people are talking about, I wonder how people are perceiving us, I wonder what people think about the whole thing, does anyone suspect anything? I'm not saying they did anything, but it's like they were trying to get clued up. Like they're trying to find information. What do people know?
Yeah, very much so. I had people that were from the other side, basically, who subscribed to me, and even fully subscribed, was actually paying. And I had to delete them because I realised, because of the names and people were calling them out, they were from the other side. But all it is to see what we were talking about and getting full access from the start of information. That's getting, so you've got to be very, very careful, basically, who sometimes is in your lives, is in your chats, because people from the other side are just looking for information, what we talked about, just in case we expose something serious.
Blah, 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 blah. To me, it's like they were keeping up with it too, not just us. We were all keeping up with it. You know, he's missing, we're trying to find him. It just seemed like they were trying to find out what we were all talking about, what we all knew, where the narrative was going. Just an opinion.
Very, very good point, where the narrative was going, and, you know, how can we basically make us go down another road? And there's been so many stories of Jay being alive and living abroad, and other people, you know, who think that they know what happened to Jay. There's a lot.
Look, there was a lot going on back then, but I think Little Miss Vodka made some great points. They were watching us. I remember Luggy being basically one of my first members, and I didn't know who the hell he was, but he was there as a plant to see what was going on. And like I said, I think they were all told to drop in to Wax, Little Miss Vodka, Haley Comet, many other channels out there as well, Mama D, just to see what's going on and to see what they're up against, which is a strange thing. But I think Miss Little Vodka, I think she was spot on in some of the stuff that she was saying in the early days, and it makes more sense now. Let's move on to part 2, people. We hear from Holly, basically, and this is in the early days from last June, and she said, Jay Slater case, so confused. Let's have a look.
I can no longer get my head around this Jay Slater case. Obviously, as a parent, when I first seen it, I felt sick. I felt so sick. I was praying and hoping that obviously he would be found 100%, but just story isn't adding up. The 2 people who we were seen with were allowed to go back to the UK. That shouldn't have happened. That Lucy Stone has not been taken and not been investigated. Wrong. Then his mate Bradton just come out yesterday and said he was on the phone to him and he could see that he was sliding down a mountain. Honey, why didn't you say this 10 days ago? That could have helped massively. So they've been searching places, and now just today, about 11, 12 days later, now they're searching somewhere completely different. It's not adding up at all. Something's going on. 100% something's going on. Mum and Dad don't seem bothered either, in the slightest.
I think what we do know is that basically, obviously, the family, I think they were told to be careful what they're basically saying to the tabloids and out to the public as well. And that was one of the reasons. And obviously, they were pained by the death of their son as well. And you know, once you've had, whether it's, you know, a death in the family, it's awful. It takes you weeks, months to get over it. And it's only now they're feeling a lot much stronger. They're asking a lot of questions. And I think Debbie had realised that, do you know what I mean? There's so many liars and fakes out there. His friends, what Abe has said, Lucy, Brandon, Brad. She's actually realised there's more to this case than meets the eye. And that I think that her and Warren know that foul play was 100% of this case. And one of the reasons why this obviously this young lady, Holly, she's basically saying is confusing. It's confusing because, like I said, the people involved have made it confusing because, like I said, they're jumping into DMs and lives and stuff like that because they don't want the truth to come out. They're hiding something. And like you said, wouldn't you just come out with everything you know from the very start because people wouldn't be suspicious of you? You know, there's a lot of things that come out a lot later, and where I was thinking, why didn't you actually say that earlier? It's absolutely bizarre, this case. Going to move on to part 3, people, and this is Lady Emsey, and she came up with a lot of, in the early days, a lot of questions which people were asking about the Jay Slater case and the confusion. Let's have a listen.
Okay, things that don't make sense to me about this Jay Slater case, I just have to jump on and talk about it because I just keep seeing it all over my FYP. And I'm just here like, okay, none of this actually makes sense. Okay, so we all know he was at that festival. They've just released the times of when it started and when it finished, and obviously we know when Jay went missing. My question is there any CCTV footage of him outside the festival, outside the bar, the club, whatever it was? Is there any CCTV footage of him outside, who he was with? Is there any footage of him getting in this rented hired vehicle? That's my first question. My second question, are these questions I'm asking? Yes, they are. Second question is there any proof, again, CCTV footage of him going to that Airbnb? Because a lot of Airbnbs have like Ring doorbells, or I'm sure they've got some cameras inside the properties, not necessarily the bedrooms or the bathrooms, but inside the properties itself. You know, so I'm thinking like, why is there no CCTV footage of any of these movements being made? Yeah, these are things that people are believing because of people like Aya, what he's saying, or what Lucy's saying, or what Brad's saying. But is there any proof? Lucy saying, yeah, he sent me his Snapchat location. Again, everyone's seen the images where it says Jay. It doesn't say me. If you go on your Snapchat, if you have Snapchat and you go to the location, you will see it says me. My phone shows how much battery I have as well. So that's not what we've seen from the picture. One sec. Okay, so going back, Lucy said that he called her at 8:30, whatever she said, or she's called him. Again, where's the proof of the call? Like, I've seen a video saying, oh, she deleted it. Why did you delete it? Oh, because I didn't think it was necessary. Okay, but your friend's missing, so how can you not think that it's necessary? Someone asked her, oh, have you got proof that you called the police and this and that, and all these people that she reckons she's called? She's saying, no, deleted it. That don't make sense. Has Brad got proof that Jay called him? You know, has anyone investigated their phones to find out, to see if there's any proof? What else did I want to discuss? The GoFundMe. Why did the price go up? It went from, I don't even know, what, 30 grand to 50 grand. Like, why has it gone up? I don't understand. Booking at Airbnb 90 minutes before. That's a bit of a... what? Why? Surely they had somewhere to stay. What, he worked in that... I don't even know what these... What's that guy called? Paper something? Did I not work in his...
Pot of Papers, Kathy.
Or whatever it was he had? So he would have had somewhere to stay up there, no? Who's the mystery guy? Who's the mystery guy? Why are drones not being flown over the terrain, going low? Now there's new videos of a cave and a mountain and people going, oh, I reckon that's Jay's body. Again, why is the drone not flying so close to it to see if it is his body or if it is him? The footage of the boat. What is that? I don't understand. What is that footage of the boat? The one of the beach, people have explained that's not Jay. It's nothing to do with the JK. Someone's put a voiceover. God knows how. Again, technology.
I'm just going to obviously make a point there. There was, myself and Ali were told by someone who was out in Tenerife, and they were told that there was a fake video and a real video, and the real beach video is the one that's come out recently, and I've done it, Wax has done it, and Awful Vids have done it as well, and many others have put that out as well.
Nowadays, people can create believable things, putting voicings over. I don't know how people do it, but they can.
Yeah, that can easily be done, I must admit.
And again, like, that picture that was uploaded on Jay's Snap of him standing in the doorway with that blanket, again, no real proof or evidence that that is Jay. People go, oh, it looks like boots. Oh, he wasn't wearing black trainers. Oh, he was wearing black trainers. Oh, he was wearing white trainers. There's no proof that that's him. There's no distinctive marks on them fingers to prove that that is Jay. It's just rumours and speculations going around and people's saying this and that and this and that. There is no real proof or evidence. I don't know what's happened to Jay, and you know, I am very invested in what's going on. I hope to God he is alive. Again, with the Rolex watch, everyone's saying, oh, he stole the watch, and there's so many different stories going around as to whose watch it was and how he stole it and blah, blah, blah. But where's the proof? Where's the man or woman or whoever it got stolen from? Where are they? Why have they not stepped forward to say, yes, this is true? You know, again, proof. We need CCTV footage. I'm sorry, but I'm 100% sure there's a lot of CCTV out there. I'm 100% sure everyone's got their phones out, video recording and stuff.
100%. I've always said that.
And people are keeping tight-lipped on it. And I just feel sorry for his family, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's absolutely sad. You know, there's a lot more I want to talk about on this Jay case. But if anyone can enlighten me, educate me, tell me something I don't know, because again, a lot of my information is from TikTok. What do we all think about this case? What's our thoughts? Where do we think Jay is? What do we think's happened to him? I just think the police need to do a live set on Lucy and Brad. I know it costs money, but again, GoFundMe. The fees are there. His family's out there now. That's it. Like, you can spend the rest of the fees on a lie detector. Surely, are the British police over there yet? What's going on? Because again, everyone's saying British police will be able to, you know, find out what's happened to him and that. Spanish police are keeping tight-lipped on stuff. What do they know? What are they covering up? I get it. They want, you know, they want to take the posters down, and you know, they want it to all slide and that because of the tourists coming over and whatnot. Oh, come on. Same way if anyone else goes missing, you kind of want to know what happened, what's going on. We want to know what's happening, what's going on. Like, I just can't keep up. I'm hearing all these stories. Okay, what's the truth now? Come on, just spill the beans. Just say it. It's been 2-3 weeks now. Just speak the truth. Whoever knows what's happened, just say what's happened. Like, anyway, I believe that Jay was never at that Airbnb. I believe that it's a decoy for everyone to be looking where he actually is. I believe everyone's looking in the wrong place. That's what I honestly believe. Because obviously you've had hikers, mountain hikers, you've had volunteers, you've had a lot of people searching that area around the mountains and the Airbnb, and no one's found nothing. And I honestly believe that he was never there in the first place. And this is just a distraction of where he really is. Whether he got on a ship and he's been shipped out to, you know, wherever, Morocco, Mexico, wherever they've said, you know, whether he's been killed somewhere by the festival area, no one knows. Like, I don't know. I'm just going off of what I think. But I honestly believe that he was never at that Airbnb. Maybe he drove up towards it. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. Maybe... I don't even want to say too much because we don't know what's actually happened. But I do believe that that's all a distraction. I don't think he's up there. I think everyone's looking in the wrong location. And if the Spanish police search their CCTV properly in the whole area of where the festival was, they might actually come up with something. Again, I saw another video saying that CCTV footage on a certain day or a certain time or whatever is missing. Why is it missing? Where's it gone? What have you done with it? Come on, this doesn't make sense. You're not hiding something. And I'm pretty sure everyone that's invested in this case just wants to know, like, what's happened to him. Where is he? Is he alive? Is he not? What's going on? Honestly.
That was Maria and Lady Emsey. Thank you for that. Interesting stuff. And like I said, it's a lot of the things she said are stuff we've sat back and thought about. But what we didn't really understand is at that time is how orchestrated it was planned to deceive us. It's like, obviously, Little Miss Vodka, everyone jumping into our DMs, and you had all the trolls coming out. And what it was is to make us stop talking about a case, because if we did, it would show that no one's really fighting for Jay, and obviously weaken the bond that we have with the family to get justice for Jay. They didn't want us. They don't really. Basically, right? If no one's talking about the case, there's no one's really going to fight for the family. They're basically on their own. If everyone stopped talking about this case and said, "Oh, look, it was an accident. Let's stand by that," because we've kept on about it. And I honestly do think we've put more questions, and red flags out there. And I'm sure that the family are watching the videos. We know that Warren was talking to Wax and told Wax to actually keep going, because I think he realizes how many red flags. And as the case goes on, and as obviously time passes, and you never obviously forget, your son that's died or your family member has died, but what you do, you want answers. And this is why I think Debbie is wanting to talk to Ayub and Rocky and whoever else, your Lucy's, your Brandon's, your Brad's, for more answers, because like I said, there's too much in this case which has been unresolved. And this is why we play videos like Lady Emsey, who is wondering what the hell is going on in this case. And all this, some of these videos was last June, last July, and they're telling us that people were actually not happy with the outcome, that this, was an accident. And the way the friends never really come out to defend Jay, and fought and made live videos and say, look, we're not to blame. Not once. Yes, they come out to the news because they were forced to do it. Lucy was forced to put a narrative out there that she wanted everyone to believe, and that was backed up by Ayub, who I think was the narrator in this. But obviously, all false information they were giving us. Jay was never at that Airbnb. There's no proof he was there. CCTV was taken by the police. They knew this was drug related, and there was some kind of violence in this case. And they certainly didn't want someone collapsing in a nightclub over rugs in Tenerife at the end of the day. And because obviously they knew this was gang related and possibly a revenge attack as well, which is highly on the Richter scale, due, concerning Tom H, which we do know that he was at the festival. It just goes on and on and on, this case. But like I said, I just think now we're actually seeing in between the lines, and the lies, the deceit and everything else. And all we want is justice for Jay. And we are going to support the family right to the end. Thank you.